Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Sunday night, which is very late for this hangout to be happening since it was supposed to be happening last Monday. But we are doing it. We are here. We somehow managed to get everything done despite my car getting towed this week, Gretchen being sick this weekend, Taylor being in New Hampshire. All of these things were happening, but we are here now. You
There's nothing wrong
may or
with
may not know
Casey.
that this
Casey's
is...
awesome.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Casey was always available all the time.
I have no
I had to
life.
haul internet cables all the way from Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Tara given the loons leak, Taylor. What is wrong with you? Anyway, as you may know or you might not know, this is season 2 of Nostalgia Junkie. It is technically an offshoot of our normal book club, which is Bibliomancy for Beginners. The first season we did was going back over my favorite book series as a kid, which was Pendragon, and there are 10 episodes of that. Casey was there for that. Taylor was not there for that. He was too busy doing Taylor things.
You missed out. It ended up being super good as long as you didn't read the 5th book. And you kind of have to skim the 3rd one. But still.
So yes, there was that. We did do one other sort of Nostalgia Junkie series, but that was before we made Nostalgia Junkie a thing, where we did the 13 books in a series of unfortunate events in 13 days, called the 13 Days of Misfortune. And yes, we did read a book a day and talk about them.
It was
awesome.
And Casey was there for that. Yeah.
That was horrible.
So, if you like hearing us talk about children's books, there are 2 other series you can go watch. But this summer, once a month, we're going to be talking about one of the 3 books in Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials, the first of which being The Golden Compass, or what is it in The Northern Lights in the UK?
Yeah.
Is it
Northern?
Yep. Okay,
yeah.
So we're going to be talking about these. We're going to be talking about this one tonight.
Also, we're doing that once a month? I thought it was every other week. Okay. Okay. We're fine. I thought we were doing it every other week.
Yep. No.
That's fine.
No friend.
We're not that crazy. Jeez.
Keep going.
Yes. So, because this is a book club, we will be talking about the characters and events of the novel. If you don't want to be spoiled, because you have not read this book, then by all means, go watch our other nostalgia series, read the book, come back and watch these when you're ready. If you either have already read this book because it's a kid's book and it has been making the rounds around book 2 because Jen Campbell was pushing it and she did a read-along last December, I believe, of this series, then please stick around and listen to us talk about it and hear our opinions and us try to be smart about a children's book, as is bound to happen, I'm sure. Plus a lot of bitching, and there will be swearing. I see? Yep, swearing. But you...
Wrong way around.
I tried. I failed, but I tried. I will read the back of the book in case you either don't remember what the plot of this one is and haven't read it, or need a refresher. I don't know. Lyra is content to run wild among the scholars of Jordan College, with her daemon familiar always by her side. But the arrival of her fearsome monk draws her to the heart of a terrible struggle. A struggle born of gobblers and stolen children, witch clans and armored bears. And as she hurtles toward danger in the cold, far north, young Lyra never suspects the shocking truth. She is destined to win or to lose this more than mortal battle. Philip Pullman's award-winning The Golden Compass is a masterwork of storytelling and suspense, critically acclaimed and hailed as a modern fantasy classic.
This won awards?
How could it not
A lot of
have?
them.
It's The Golden Compass.
Well, what did it win? Okay, I guess that doesn't matter. Alright, it won something.
My book doesn't have a sticky on it, so hold on. It won...
We should really do our research.
England's prestigious Whitbread Award to have won not only the Children's Book category, but also the Book of the Year award, both for the Amber Spyglass, and this one. And
slow year.
Gross. I'm just getting all the film awards.
Yep, that's it.
43% Rotten Tomatoes.
We should stream the film.
The film was bad, guys.
Yeah.
The film was real bad.
No one's disagreeing.
You wanna like?
No, we don't.
I never saw it.
We're
not Mystery Science Theater
really?
No.
I think we'd have to buy the rights anyway. Am I the only virgin then? Who, like, I never read this as a kid?
I only read the first one, so after this point.
Yeah. I'm with one as a kid.
Well,
okay, see, I didn't.
I am the experienced older student smoking in the bathroom then, because I read the entire trilogy.
Oh, good. You're senpai. Great. I didn't read it because I don't like talking animal books, and it looks like a talking animal book.
That bear does talk.
It is a talking animal book.
Yeah. They really try real hard, especially if you're a girl with children's literature. There are so many talking animals. And ponies.
That's what they like, okay?
8 ponies.
All girls want to be princesses or veterinarians. Just, the books need to play. You need to play to that.
Yeah. Anyway.
We always start off with spoiler-free overall reviews so that you can sort of get an idea of what's to come and also, in general, to know whether you should go read it. I think we should start with Casey since she's our guest.
Oh, okay. This is totally not a great foot to start off on. I thought it was incredible that there are 400 pages in this book and nothing happens. I did not know that a book could be less interesting than its Wikipedia summary, and I'm not sure how you would give a review with spoilers because nothing happens. It is a book of things almost happening, which I will go into more detail later, but no, I was not a fan. I was bored.
I love you.
I finished The Fault in Our Stars. It's been like 3 weeks since I bitched about a book. I've missed it. So, thank you. I needed this hate.
Oh. Well, I disagree, but you still made me laugh, so.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay.
Hey, I go along with Casey here as the dislike faction of this podcast, broadcast, whatever I'm trying to say. And I would propose as an alternate title, besides The Golden Compass, Go the Fuck to Sleep. Both for your reaction as a reader and also Lyra as a character, because not only does nothing happen in this book, but that which happens to Lyra. So either someone is like putting her in a position where she has to react, or someone is telling her to go to sleep, and she goes to sleep. That is the two things that happen.
I did not pick that up. Interesting.
She goes to sleep all the time.
I, for one, enjoyed the structure of Lyra running forward nonstop until she falls asleep, and then important conversations are had. I was fine with that happening 2 or 3 times. I
deeply respect the. I deeply respect the world building, but I was bored as hell. So that's. I'm not going to refer to this book as The Golden Compass for the entire broadcast. It will only be Go the Fuck to Sleep.
It took a lot of willpower not to start snoring when you read the back of the book. So I would like everyone to applaud my maturity because it was hard.
Wow. Okay, Michaela, take it away.
Yeah, I'll go.
And the bitch fest.
So I have to say that I liked it a lot more now than I did as a kid. Like I said, I only read the first one when I was a kid, and that was because I found this one quite boring. I do think it suffers a bit of first book in a trilogy syndrome, where it's all exposition for the most part, right? But that's a common trilogy problem. The first book doesn't have a whole lot of action and it doesn't resolve much, at least in poorly structured trilogies. There are
Mm.
trilogies who have
Mm-hmm.
well structured first books. And I second one, and there were all things woven into this text that Tiny Michaela didn't realize or didn't know about. What?
Hmm?
What, Taylor? You looked like you were
Oh,
about to
Oh, it looked like there
no.
was
shout
a
at the.
bug.
Yeah, there are like 30 million gnats around me, so as I'm
Oh,
just flailing, don't just keep going. I'm not waving you.
It's
okay.
interpretive dance.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I liked it better than I did as a kid, which I think is a plus. I
Hmm.
understand why people, like a lot of adults, really enjoy this series.
Hmm.
Could be better. It's not a perfect book, but maybe once I read more, I'll be like, ah, this was setting up all of the things.
Hmm. No, my dad, who teaches middle school English, I was talking to him about this because they used to use it as a summer reading book, and he really enjoyed it. So I'm with you on that one. I like you, Michaela. Enjoyed this a lot more than I remember liking it as a child, um, and that's in part because all of the theology discussion I found to be a lot more interesting than I remember it sort of being a thing, especially in the latter books. But in the first one, I found their conversation to actually be really cool. Like I had a great time going through those. Um, I will also agree that it is perhaps not the best paced book, not because nothing happens, but one of the major conflicts towards the end I found to be super rushed and super, like, way too convenient and just like, this is a YA book. This is like a kid's book where, like, we need a resolution to this, and so we're just going to have some convenient things happening and no one's going to look too hard at it.
See,
But,
weirdly, oh, sorry. I was just gonna
no,
say, the end of the book was the only thing I liked, but keep going.
yeah. No, this was before Polar Bear Land. This was the research station that I found to be just really
Yeah.
breakneck and not in a good way. Um, yeah, I actually found the book to be a little too rushed at times. Like I didn't feel like it got to really settle into the settings it was creating.
Well, every time you
That's because
started, she'd fall
So we have
asleep.
two
this
people.
book. What?
Oh, I said every
Uh,
time you'd start to settle in,
I
you'd
was just
she'd
gonna say,
fall
so
asleep.
we yep.
She
Okay,
thought
so
Gretchen was talking to her. Okay,
Oh.
Michaela? She
no,
wasn't
I was just
silencing
like, I
you.
had a point, but I'm gonna let.
okay.
I was just being a snarky asshole. I'm sorry. It's so hard to tell when people are gonna talk. I'm
I
sorry.
know.
It's okay. So now we will get into the spoilery section, which may or may not be spoilery according to Casey. But hey, watch other things. Come back to us when you are ready. How do we want to start today, guys? Since we've thrown the system out the window, is there anything that people particularly want to get into right now?
I mean, all right. Can I seriously ask the question of whether you guys like it or not? Think that this is a book about Lyra, or where Lyra is this like theologically based world discussion that he wants to put out there? Because genuinely, because so little agency and she like so little of her actions like she actually chooses. She's just like chucked into situation after situation. And maybe there will be like a reason. I know there's like the whole thing with like fate and
The
she can't know.
prophecy.
Yeah, that, but like I don't, okay. Like
Well,
she still has the option to make choices which she doesn't do. So like is this book supposed to be about Lyra or supposed to be about this world and Lyra's just like facilitating?
See,
she's
this
very
is...
much under the thumb. Oh, go on.
Oh, no, you go first. Then I'll jump
I
in.
was just saying, she's very much under the thumb of a lot older characters in this book, so she doesn't really do very much, whereas in the second half of it, we see her getting to do her own thing, although she's still caught up in the same situation. She gets to drive her own decisions a lot more. She's just also in a larger system that she's unaware of. I don't remember the latter two books, but I don't feel like this is the same issue. Like, I don't think it's an ongoing thing, or some commentary by the author. I think it's just an unfortunate setup of having a really complex world that's sort of like ours and sort of not.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I guess I sort of...
Go ahead, Casey.
Okay. I was just going to say, I sort of thought it was supposed to be about Lyra, but that Pullman just isn't really good at writing, which seems really unfair, especially because he won a bunch of awards. But I don't know where the... Because you're right, she does basically nothing, but my God, the way everyone talks about her. She is the specialist little white girl in the world. Like, this little Aryan princess is just like, she is the center of a prophecy, and she is so innocent, and she is so beautiful, and everyone loves her, even the bear, who hates everyone. They literally say that the bear loves her after like 3 days, which is bullshit. But
well, that's
she's
part of it being
special.
Russ. She got his armor
Hold on,
back.
Taylor.
It's
Michaela
still-
has her hand up.
I'm gonna hold this up next to the first Harry Potter book. Lots of things happen to Harry, and he must react to them.
But Harry's likable.
So your issue
Occasionally.
now is, well, I reread the first one. I haven't read any of the others past that, but the first one was basically Harry getting dragged around by different people the whole time. Until maybe the end, when he's like, I'm gonna go after that stone, because I'm the chosen one, because everyone's been telling me that this whole book. Like, it's sort of similar here, where, like, for the first part, she's getting dragged around by a bunch of adults, and then is like, now I'm gonna go save my friend, because I can do that, kinda.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she
And then
sucked
she
at it, but you know.
And then she doesn't. But hey, it's like,
Yeah.
sort of
She
similar, if
did
that makes sense.
everything
Like,
she was supposed to.
Well, I think Casey touched on something really important too, which is that I really felt like characterization in this book of everyone, not really shitty.
The bear was okay.
Yeah, but like, I mean, and same thing, like, he loves you after 3 days. Like, what did she do? Where did, and like, so many...
she slept a bunch. Bears are super chill with people who sleep.
But I just, like, I feel like all these, like, really tight relationships all of a sudden went, kapoo, this just happened because, like, she smiled and dazzled them with her beautiful innocence and blonde hair.
Did
I'm like,
she try and trick the bear, though? Like, I thought that was the thing,
No.
was that she, like, manipulated him.
None of his actions were based off of liking her. It was either, okay, yes, you have given me orders to follow her, because he explicitly was like, okay, if you tell me to do this, I will do this. So whether or not you believe that he loves her after 3 days or she loves him, the fact is that doesn't factor into his decision-making process, so it doesn't make it unbelievable.
See, I would disagree sort of in that, like, I would be totally with you if it was just like, yeah, he's doing this because he's told to, and maybe he starts to get an affection for her the way you sort of are affectionate for, like, dumb puppies, because she's kind of a dumb puppy. But, like, you're right that he has done nothing to show us that he loves her. We're just told he does. And, like, the same thing with Lyra. We see nothing to suggest that she is special, but we're told she's special. This book does a lot of...
theometer.
Yeah, first off, she can do that immediately with, like, no mistakes, with, like,
Stop.
no trading. That's bullshit.
Magic! How are you complaining about magic working?
It shouldn't. She shouldn't be that good immediately. This is a thing that people take years to study. I know.
Yeah, look.
It's
Either you're
stupid.
the
I
people who
hate
can't
chosen
read it, or
ones.
you're the one who can.
Oh,
She should at least
understands
have a
figurative
little
meaning.
trouble. It's difficult.
It was a drawn-out process of her not knowing what it said.
It was a drawn-out process that took like 2 days, and she had no mistakes.
Casey,
She
why
can
did
do
you
it because
ever
she's
leave me?
special. I'm sorry. What was that, Gretchen?
I said, why did you ever leave me? I mean,
Taylor, it
okay.
hurts to fight you.
I know,
It
Casey.
feels so unnatural. But I'm
But it
sorry.
needs to happen.
I
I
just
mean,
felt like we
Complaining
were
about
being
magic
told
working in a
something.
magical book.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing, though. Like, if it was just the one instance of, like, just the bear, like, suddenly having this great relationship with her, or just the alethiometer, bam, she can suddenly read it. But it's like, every single thing that needs to happen, or, like, every single character relationship is just like, boom, bam, yeah! And I'm like, but we just spent 50 pages discussing, like, the history of the Pope. But now, like, the actual characterization is happening, and we're like, ta-da!
It's because she's special. She is
We
more
have-
special than everyone else.
Well, Pullman clearly has priorities here, then. He's prioritizing creating an interesting world with an interesting conflict over creating characters who may or may not continue to be there for the rest of the series. Because doesn't she travel to other worlds in the other books? I don't even...
Wait, did
like,
she
she
go
goes-
away?
It
Does
doesn't
this
drop.
book star other people? Yay!
Lyra's
No,
here.
she's the main character.
There's another main character that comes in the next book.
Yeah, that's what I
His
thought.
name is Will.
He's blonde and white, isn't he?
Yes.
Of course he
Very
is!
conspiracy.
There is uncomfortable race stuff we can
She's
talk about later.
Ginger. It says she's ginger-haired.
Oh, they go on about. I thought she had golden hair. But no, there's uncomfortable. We don't have to talk about that now if there's more stuff. But I want to chat about the Egyptians later. They made me uncomfortable.
They're gypsies.
Maybe.
They're
Yeah, they're
Romani.
obviously gypsies.
The what?
Gypsies.
No, I didn't hear what Casey said.
Oh, I said, yeah, they're obviously gypsies. And, like, I get it
Yeah.
to an extent. I had an embarrassing freshman year where I dressed up as a gypsy for Halloween. It's bad. But they're very stereotypical. And there's a very, I'm going to use the trope magical Negro here in that, like, they just sort of serve to help the white girl at all costs. And they just love the white girl immediately. And there's just, I don't know. I might be the only one here. People might be looking at me like I'm crazy, but it made me so comfortable.
I can see the things you are picking up on and how it would lead to that impression. I don't think you're just, like, drawing it out of nowhere. I don't necessarily agree.
SJW.
Well, no, and, like, I don't know, it also made me super uncomfortable that all of these people, not just Egyptians, want to help her because her dad has helped them in the past, and they're like, we owe a debt to the great Lord Asriel. But then, like, you actually meet Lord Asriel, and he's a total dick. And you're like what the hell?
Nepotism. I
This
didn't mind the
child-murdering
nepotism.
bastard.
See, I prefer will help you because your dad was great to will help you because we love you. Now, all of a sudden. Because you're innocent, which
think
let's
you're
not
all blowing
fetishize
that a
innocence
lot
here.
out of proportion.
Innocence
I think
is
the issue-
magical.
Well,
and
yeah, I think
perfect
that's
and beautiful.
Casey, that's what this is criticizing. That's
What?
the entire stance of the church.
What?
Yeah.
No, the whole
Very-
point of the prophecy is she has to remain innocent. If she
Well,
is not
no,
innocent, the
she
world will be
can't know
destroyed.
about it. She can't know about it. But the whole idea of innocence is what is driving the church to sever people from their demons. This is not taking a light stance on, maintaining purity.
I don't know. They use the word innocent to describe her a lot. A lot.
She's also 12, so, right? 12?
Yeah.
I thought she was
So,
10.
I would say 12-year-olds are innocent. There's not a whole lot of corruption in them yet.
As innocent as
7-year-olds.
she can come.
7-year-olds are dicks. So
Yeah.
she's past the dick phase, but hasn't gotten to the horny teenager phase. That makes her innocent.
And she's right before
now-
the severing of the demon foreskin phase, so...
Exactly. They're
That
not
is not
gonna
a metaphor I picked up
masturbate
on.
if you cut off part of their penis.
Well,
All right.
That's why that started. So
I had a point.
Oh, no,
and then
you're
you said
right.
that,
I
and I don't know how to follow that now.
go with your point. What was your point?
I got very distracted by this topic, and I don't remember it now.
We got Gretchen flustered, it would seem.
Aw, I'm sorry, Gretchen.
this is a children's book, and inappropriate things never are mentioned in children's books. Children's books are innocent and pure.
It's
Just
an
like Lyra.
obvious metaphor for circumcision, though. Obvious metaphor is obvious.
There are a lot of possible interpretations of the metaphor. So, as Gretchen and I were saying, one of the conference panels we were on was discussing it as like a cultural severing. So there are a lot of different ways this could go. It's not just a transparent, we'll cut off the demon foreskin.
I wish it was a lot more literal, though.
And also, I mean, there's a way to say that, like, they carry the demons in their souls in a way too. And so, like, since the soul is also such a big deal for like church, you have to save your soul, kind of a thing. And so, like,
See, I'm kind of confused because I got... Oh, sorry, did I cut Gretchen off?
no, I cut
Oh.
myself off.
Because I actually got less of the church is evil. It's definitely there, but I got a bit of at least with the research lab, a lot of science is evil in a weird way. Like, I sort of thought they were severing the kids because they could, and they wanted to see what would happen, and they're after the dust because. Sort of like I don't know, I got a weird sense that it was just like,
Well,
knowledge for its own sake leads to playing God kind of thing.
they were basing a lot of it in the corruption of the church, not like the fact that it is a church.
Okay.
That's the issue.
That's fair.
Also, I read the dust as sin? Question
Yeah,
mark? 'Cause
no,
they said
they
it
call it
collects.
original.
Right, but like they said it collects more around adults than kids, which makes the kids innocent.
Mhm.
But at the
The
same
longer
time,
you're-
they're also like, it's powerful. Let's harness the power and do things. And I'm like, you can't do both. It can't both
Harness
be
the
sin and be powerful and harnessable. Choose.
Maybe it's the idea of once you sever humanity from sin, there's that like transcendent potential there of like,
That's
I don't
like
know
to heaven.
theology. I just want to throw out like an Ubermensch thing. Like it's the next step of humanity. You are more than human, closer to God. Something there.
Except I feel like it's more like a lobotomy where people then walk around all like Zimby-like.
Yeah.
Well, also, they keep talking about it like such a good thing, but at the same time, like, they're having a hard time even having the kids, like, survive the process. So, like, no, this is really necessary for humanity's survival, but we gotta kill all these kids to get there. And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
Finding
See,
the
that's
process.
where I thought it was the science, the sort of like, we will sacrifice anything to just get it done. Which I'm not anti-science, by the way. I'm in way over my head. I don't know. I started talking about racism, and then we're in religion, and I don't know. I'm going to just keep knitting. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I guess we should mention that.
To make it
that-
split.
Well,
Go on.
hold on, no, Taylor. Casey
No,
is
no, I'm-
religious. Casey still Like Casey's
Oh
religious.
God.
None of them.
What?
Okay, what? What are...
Uh-oh.
Yes?
Therefore,
I don't want to be a
she-
spokesperson for this church. Don't make me do it.
No, not the church in the book. I'm just saying is that Pullman for us seems to be taking a very anti-church thing, and that might be because the rest of us aren't super religious, right? So like we're
I don't think he's taking an anti-religious stance. I think he's just taking an anti-organized.
Catholic Church.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Yeah.
in the time period, the Catholic Church sucked.
Catholic
Because he's
churches
saying,
like,
like,
a
are
lot.
scary. They're
because
scary.
they're doing all
There's-
this evil stuff.
American
This stuff still
evangelicalism is
exists.
worse. Yeah. Sorry, that's not relevant. Now we're going
Yeah.
way off topic. Anyway.
Well, and I mean, like, I think one of the reasons too that maybe we might be hypersensitive to like the religion aspect of this is that, I mean, I don't know how much reading you guys have done, but I am aware of like his motives for writing this book and what he said about what he's done with religion and the fact that like the Catholic Church banned these books and like
They did?
he wanted
Oh, because it has the word
boycott-
demon.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Casey, just wait.
Really?
Just wait for book 3.
Oh boy. Am I gonna get offended?
You know. No, you won't.
Am
But
I
you'll
gonna
see
be
why the
bored?
church.
Yes, Casey, yes. Because like as
Anyway.
interesting as this discussion is, I think you and I can both agree that if we weren't in this book club reading it for these grand old discussions, I mean, I would never have even finished the first book. I would have been
God,
like,
no.
nope, Tiny Gretchen was right. This is boring.
Yep. Mhm. To be fair, I did enjoy like the last 100 pages. Right when Taylor started thinking it was getting rushed, I was like, "Oh, thank God, something's happening."
Well,
No, because
you
once we got to
did that
Svalbard,
in
it
the
was
Pendragon
awesome.
things too, though, Casey. Like there was a
Okay.
couple times where you were like, "This was super exciting," and Gretchen and I were both like, "It went so fast, like we wanted it
Like-
more."
I'm an adrenaline junkie. I can't help it.
And we're all nostalgia junkies.
Hey, that's the title of this series.
They said
They
the name
named the
of the
movie
thing.
in the movie.
What
So,
Alright,
can we talk
next.
about Svalbard?
Sure.
God, is that Polar Bear Land?
Yeah, Polar Bear
Okay.
Land was great. I thought
Polar
the
Bear Land was
description, the
fun.
action, it was rad.
Yeah. No, it was fun.
Can we all agree on that at least?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gretchen?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Things actually happened. It was awesome.
I had
There was
entirely
a-
forgotten about Polar Bear Land, so I'm wondering if I even bothered to read that far the first time I read the series. And then I was like, dude, Polar Bear fight to the death!
And
Oh.
there was like a second where I thought maybe it wouldn't all turn out like in Lyra's favor. Obviously that didn't happen
Uh-huh.
because this book didn't believe in consequences until the last 5 pages. But there was a second where he had me fooled and there was tension and that was exciting.
And here's where I have to disagree with kind of the undertone of your guys' criticisms in the sense that
Bitchiness. Just say
I
it.
know, I actually really liked Lyra because I found her compulsive lying to be hilarious.
Okay, that's
Any
fair.
situation she's in, whether she's under threat or just having a conversation with people, she will just lie her ass off in any direction of something she sort of heard and just pick up all this random information, and it was so funny for me.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. That was pretty great, but I also just like that was the one feature of her personality that she had.
Well,
And that
and
was like the one thing she did.
the thing that frustrated me is no one calls her out on it. There are no consequences for her being an asshole because everyone still loves her. So it doesn't matter that she's a liar. It's funny.
But she lies to random people she never encounters again.
I guess that's true. I wish, like,
Lie
her
to strangers,
douchebaggery
Kate.
had bitten her in the buttocks.
Well, she did get her best friend killed, so...
Yeah, that's fair.
Can I just say that I don't know why, but like apparently the last interaction I've had with this storyline was the movie, and I kind of like I back of my head because of like the panels and the discussion that we heard of the books. But then I got there and I was like, no, does this really happen? Because for all y'all that haven't seen the movie fucks up and allows her best friend to live, which is one of the most arresting parts of the book, which is that he dies and his father kills him. But like I was like, oh, he really dies, and then I was waiting for like the resurrection scene, but the book ended, and I was like,
he might come back. I'm not convinced he's really dead.
No,
he's dead. He kicked.
Spoiler alert.
Good job, Pullman. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of that scene, was anyone else super uncomfortable with like her just watching her mom and dad like make out a lot? And it was described in a lot of detail. And their daemons are like making out.
It was the
daemons.
daemons.
They were like
really
groping each other, and I was just like, this is really sexual.
Yeah, no, it was kind of like
I was not shipping it either. So
the slash fiction in this universe is, I'm sure, must be fucking off the wall.
Ooh,
They introduced demons into that. It just
good, because the Pendragon slash fiction was disappointing.
Really?
I was shipping all over the place. Gretchen and Michaela didn't get it.
I thought a lot of fan fictioners would have cut their teeth on Pendragon.
No. They all went to Harry Potter.
Nobody read Pendragon.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Okay, now you know how I feel about Animorphs, okay?
I read
it's really
Animorphs. My best friend ran Animorphs.
Everyone read, like, the
way
first 10 books of Animorphs, and then, like, 3 in the middle, and then stopped.
Well,
no
that's
one I know
because there
went
was like a bajillion of them in the
There
library.
were a bajillion
Libraries
of them.
never had them all.
Yes,
like,
my
that is
library
true.
certainly read them all.
Okay,
Well,
I'm proud of you.
I got through the special edition ones really enthusiastically.
Oh, the Megamorphs? Yeah, okay, that's not relevant. I'm sorry, I'm just desperate to talk about anything that in this book. I'm sorry, I'm such an asshole. If anyone's watching this who likes the books, I'm sorry. It's nothing against you. It's just that
Michaela and Taylor are here to them.
Actually, that's close. I also love Lemony Snicket and some of Stephen King, and that's it. Everything else is just hate. My heart is a black pit of
you
hatred.
were like pretty okay with Pendragon. Like you didn't.
Actually, I did enjoy Pendragon, except for book 5. I would have gladly reread book 5 instead of this, by the way. I was thinking,
dang,
those giant cat people are looking real interesting.
Those are such fighting words. I can't.
I would like to say that I rated this like 3 stars. Like it didn't blow me away. Like it was okay. I wanted more from it.
Oh yeah.
It didn't give me more. But
I also rated it 3 stars actually, which
really?
Yeah, well, I rated it, on my initial read, I rated it 2 stars on Goodreads, and I actually did bring it up a star for this, just because, like, especially after reading a lot of YA where they don't give a shit about their world building, as a writer and as a reader, like, I have to respect that, even if this book is boring as hell, because I have to respect the amount of work that went into that, and, it is interesting if you care to sit there and read it. I just don't care to sit there and read it necessarily. But I also did have to swallow this book in like 2 sittings because I was so sick and behind reading it. So, like, I also understand that might have been a part of my reading experience, even though I'm pretty sure I was just bored.
I think that part of it is that there's 2 different kinds of readers when it comes to reading a book like this. There's people like Taylor, who's a giant Tolkien nerd and will nerd out all over all of the long descriptions of things going on that nobody cares about, really.
Look, the author put a lot of thought into how things fit together.
I'm aware.
And I find that very satisfying.
See, but the difference is Tolkien, and I've read Tolkien. I feel like Lord of the Rings, and the first one is the worst, but anyway, I feel like they stand up without having to read all the alternate material. I feel like these...
All the alternate material is in the texts, though. Not literally, but what I'm saying is, reading The Fellowship of the Ring takes a bit longer than reading The Golden Compass, and,
To be fair, this doesn't have Tom Bombadil.
these digressions are very short. This book is a really quick read. The audiobook was 9 hours.
Yeah.
Audiobooks are much longer than it takes to read the actual book, even for me.
Yeah. I'm
By the
sorry,
way,
what's
the
the other kind of
BBC did a
reader?
great...
The other kind of
what?
reader is me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We got lost.
Yes, the other
Gretchen.
kind of reader is like Gretchen, who wants something that has a good pacing and an interesting plot to keep her engaged. Yes?
Yes.
See?
So there's the ones who want boring homework and the ones who want shiny keys jangled in their face.
Yes.
If I can be as insulting to both of you as possible.
As long as things fit together, whether it's character interaction or world building, I am content to take as long as they want to.
See, that's the thing. I love Stephen King, so I don't mind word bloat. Because, my God. And George R. R. Martin and Tolkien, like, there's word bloat. My main problem was nothing happens. Things keep almost happening.
They
And
don't
they
need
don't.
to.
No,
I mean,
yes,
I
they
could-
need
no.
to happen.
I would say the same thing about Game of Thrones, though, because like
Oh,
I fell
shut up.
asleep reading A Dance with Dragons. It
Shut
fell on my
your
face.
whore mouth. No, we are not having that conversation. We are talking about how nothing happens in this book. People die in Game of Thrones. Lots of them die.
Somebody died! Lots of children died in this book!
Okay, like one kid. The rest of them happened off screen, and we don't care about them.
But Casey,
No, but
a Dance of Dragons was almost as boring as A Feast for Crows.
I like to Feast for Crows. Shut up.
That was
Thrones is
Dance with
terrible.
Dragons was very boring, though. See, the thing is, I really like Jamie and Brienne, so I was happy. But anyway, not the point. The nothing. What I'm saying is, I have a decent tolerance for, like, rambling. But what drove me crazy is I found no tension because just there was so much potential for really cool things to happen, but then they didn't. It was like she gets kidnapped by her mom, who we don't know is her mom, and she almost becomes like a child kidnapper, but she doesn't. And then
When she goes to sleep.
she has to escape, and she almost gets caught, but then she doesn't. And
then
then
she
she
goes to
falls
sleep.
in with the Egyptians, and there's one guy who you almost think they're gonna rat her out, but then they don't.
And
it
then
was
she
just
goes
like
to sleep.
it was over and over. It was like you got so close to something happening, but at the last second it would
by
be
having her captured.
Because she goes to sleep!
yeah. She goes to sleep, and then he just describes it. It was like, and then she hid under the boat, and then she was not caught, and then everything was resolved.
But what I'm saying is nothing. What narratively would have been interesting if she had been caught? Because she's caught later on in the book, and it's dealt with quickly.
In part, when she's trapped in the little whatever.
It takes
Wow.
20 pages because there's immediately a fire drill.
Yeah,
Magic
that's
convenient
called
fire
things
drill. She's like,
happening.
wow, this would be super convenient to make a getaway.
See,
That's my my Lyra
I
voice.
guess the difference for me is that Lyra actually has a part to play in her escape there. It's not a huge part. It's not the biggest part. It's not the part I would have really been thrilled with. But up until that point, it's just stuff happening to her. And it's just like she lays down and then everything gets resolved around her. Or John Foss says something and everything gets resolved around her and she has nothing to do with it. And she's just sitting there, and I imagine she must be as bored as the rest of us just watching stuff happen to her.
That's why she says she sleeps so much.
Nothing is resolved when she's sleeping. It's transitional space between two locations, and then we as the reader are learning something that she cannot yet know. So we have a context for dramatic irony. Nothing is resolved.
What's
when she
ironic?
doesn't know.
Okay, and I don't care if I want to go to sleep too. Like, it would be fine if I didn't also want to go to sleep, but I feel like I'd get more out of reading this book if I go to sleep every time Lyra goes to sleep, or take a shot. Either way.
Yeah, it was just, I was never worried about Lyra because you knew that she was going to be fine. Because something was going to pop up and there was never going to be any tension. Also, I think part of it was his writing style, where it never felt present. Like, it always felt like he was telling us it after it already happened. The escape scene was especially disappointing. It was like, they went into the hall, and then they left. It's like, you couldn't have at least had the monkey chase them a little bit. Or, like,
Monkey can't
someone
move that
seen
far
her.
away from Mama.
Someone
Yes,
could
it
have
can.
called her name, and then she could have ran. Like, there could have been something. And I feel like I'm not expressing this well at all because I don't know how to say words. But it just felt like everything was being described. Like, it felt like a plot summary
was
the
a
whole
lot of
time.
it was a lot of telling and telling and not showing, but at the
Yes, this
same
happened,
time,
and then this happened.
but at the same
We're losing
Anyone
her.
else losing her?
Yep.
Yeah. We'll just wait here quietly.
Dead air.
Roll.
That's what
Come back.
everyone loves to
no,
watch.
no,
So,
Well,
guys,
no.
this is what watching the gold or reading the Golden Compass feels like. A lot of dead
No.
air. Michaela, we lost you.
am I here again?
Yes,
Yes,
you're
you're
Yes.
back.
Okay, I
And
was
since you're
just saying.
recording,
Okay, um, what was I saying? Oh, the fact that it was a whole lot of telling and not showing, I was fine with it because I felt like Lyra was too young of a protagonist for the plot that was happening to actually be able to do anything. There are stories where 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds have a whole lot of, like, they're able to do stuff in their world, they're able to actually have a whole lot of control over what's going on. But with the plot that we are given here and the conflict being lots of adults are literally killing kids, she doesn't have a whole lot of control over the situation because it is meant to be a realistic world, even if it's magical. It's meant to be like if you had a 12-year-old in your life who had her best friend stolen and decides to run away to go find him, like people would be like, nope, that's not cool. Nope, you gotta be protected and stuff. Like it, I
Mhm.
was okay with it. Like it seemed justified to me.
Oh,
And
another
maybe
thing
as
that
the books,
almost happened. She almost stowed away and there could have been conflict of her being found out by John Fall, and then it was too late. But then they just decide to let her go. Anyway, no, I think you're right,
No,
Michaela.
I mean,
It's just the way it's written, I don't know. I was bored.
no,
Michaela.
I mean, I totally 100% agree with what Michaela just said, but then that's what feeds into my issue of just like feeling as a reader. Like Philip Pullman wrote this story like with, and I mean, I do think honestly this is what happened, that he had the idea for the world and the conflict of like, you know, the religious stuff, and then he like inserted Lyra to make the plot go, and I don't know, that rubs me the wrong way. Especially with the little attention given to characters throughout the book. So
Make
I
this
don't
book
know.
about the bear, and it's a good book.
The hair is so minor. What Michaela brought up in my mind was that this entire plot is really just because Lyra's parents had a really bad breakup. This is just the ideological divide between the two of them, and her and kind of the whole world being just torn apart because of it.
Okay, I'm revising my new title. My new title is "Breaking Up is Hard to Do, So Go the Fuck to Sleep." That's this book in a sentence.
I feel like I wonder if this would have been more enjoyable for Gretchen and I, at least, if it had been an adult series. Because it seems like if
It's
your
kind of walking a
protagonist was
line.
older and more active, I guess, more knowledgeable, if you did, it felt like sometimes things were being dumbed down for the kids. Irek is like actually a super dark character when you really think about it, but he's very sugar-coated for kids. Like, he's an alcoholic murderer. Like that's pretty dark.
Who built his soul?
Yeah, but like I don't know. I feel like there were a lot of things that were softened to be more child-friendly. And I think maybe if he just made a grown-up book, he could have actually gone deeper into the world building, because adults tend to have more patience for that kind of thing. And then I don't know. I might have had more patience for it. I don't know. I'm a child, though, so.
I guess
So
that's
yeah,
fair.
I was just wondering what you guys thought about that. If it was an adult book, would it change your reading?
Well, I definitely feel like an older protagonist would have benefited the story because, like I said, Lyra for me was young. Like there was nothing that she'd be able to do in her world.
Yeah.
But the
I mean, I understand.
prepubescent aspect was important.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I
She's
understand
innocent.
why she has to be the age that she is, but at the same time, and I think we've read books. I mean, we did our very first episode on the Book of Lost Things, which had a very young protagonist, but was not a children's book.
But he also
Because
immediately falls out of his world where we can suspend our disbelief of his age being a factor, whereas she's still very much in her own world. And we early on the rules and regulations on children.
No, I'm just saying that, like, there is a way to write young protagonists, like, in adult books. Like, what a children's book, what is a young adult book, does not entirely depend on the age of the protagonist. It's often the best used benchmark, but it's not the only benchmark that you can use. And so that's why I'm saying that, like, I think that there was a way to have kept Lyra as the age that she is moved. I mean, this is already mostly omniscient third, kind of, sort of, or like rotating limited third, but like it could have been just moved out to completely omniscient third with Lyra as the character around which the plot revolves, but been an adult book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. Or, honestly, I'm willing to suspend some disbelief and have her be a little more proactive. Like, she could have been more scrappy. I don't know. I would have been okay with it. We've read a lot of books where the kids...
She's a posh little rich girl from a boarding school.
I know, but have you read...
Well,
like, just
she was a
think
3-year-old child.
I don't know. I just, like, I'm thinking about the Baudelaires. I'm thinking about Bobby Pendragon, who I guess is a little older. The little girl on God, I can't remember anyone's names. The love interest little sister was pretty awesome. I don't know. I feel like we've read a lot of children who can do remarkable things. So while I appreciate your similitude, like, she could have been a little scrappier. I don't know. What, Tedward? Taylor?
I don't really think it needed that.
But like, she's so boring.
Well, yeah, but honestly, because I don't remember the next two books very well.
What was that, Michaela?
She fell too far away.
The interesting part is the world.
Yeah.
It's not the characters.
I mean, yeah, but I guess, like...
I struggle with
next
that.
book.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I mean, yeah, like, I understand that what you're saying is that, like, she gets more self-aware, self-agency in, like, the next couple of books, and I'll forgive it, I suppose, in this one, if, like, in the next book I see her actually struggling with that and evolving out of that. But at the same time, the fact does remain that if we were not doing this for this book club, I would never read the second book. So, like, you know what I mean? I'm willing to accept that reality, but for this first book, it just failed for me. You know what I'm saying?
I really hope she fucks up in the next book. Like, that, I like to read that. I like, because she's an asshole, and I want her to be wrong just once and have to deal with the consequences of that.
She's an ankle biter. Let's be honest here.
I know, but I don't know. I don't like... It drives me crazy when characters don't have... Like, I don't know. It's like consequence-free land. I don't know. They just get to be a little shit, and it doesn't affect the plot at all, or how characters feel about them.
I mean, Robert is dead now.
Robert's
I
fucking
know.
dead.
I didn't care about Robert, though. I didn't care about his death.
I mean, she didn't either, so that's probably why.
Yeah. I mean,
She was too busy watching her mom and dad make out.
I kind of want to see the scene in the movie where that happens. That must be really uncomfortable
I mean,
to
it
sit
is
in the
Nicole
theater.
Kidman as the mom. I know that. I don't know
And
who.
Daniel Craig is the dad.
And
Oh.
Daniel Craig. Oh man,
I suddenly am interested in this movie.
it's gonna be on my YouTube history.
Alright. We've been talking for about an hour, or do you think that we can wrap up?
Yeah.
I think we're ready.
Yeah.
Okie doke.
And to be fair,
Well-
I get why people like it.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Katie and
It's
Casey admits it's good. Keep going.
Okay, no, I did not say that. I said I get why people liked it. Well, there's talking animals, and there's world building, which I appreciate is important to some people, and apparently people did not hate Lyra and want to wring her skinny little white neck, and I
Book
appreciate that.
Oh no.
I
Book
respect
2, we
that.
need to actually talk about demons. We didn't actually talk about them.
Diamonds. They're diamonds.
We can get into that next time. Well, like, we can
Yeah, that's what I'm
open.
saying.
That's where we can start next time. Unless I'm just shouting, she keeps sleeping!
Okay. So
Okay.
our next meeting is technically tomorrow, and it's a normal bibliomancy episode. But the next time we will be reading one of the historic materials books will be the 18th of July. Hopefully, that's a Monday. We'll be doing the Subtle
Subtle
Knife.
Knife.
Yeah,
The second
that's the one.
Yep.
What is us with the word
This
subtle?
one-
Because as you can see from Taylor's, our next book is A Fierce and Subtle Poison.
Yeah, that is weird. Also, I'm wondering how a knife is subtle. I feel like when a knife becomes part of your life, you notice it.
Oh, this is a very subtle knife, though, so I look forward to that one.
Super subtle.
I am excited about our next book, for the most part.
So yes, that's it. If you want to find us around the internet, I'm tired. I would like to go to bed. I'm just going to let you know that all of our links are down in the description and have been the whole entire time we've been talking. Yeah, okay. Have a good rest of your Sunday, which is like an hour and a half, and have a good
Woo!
week, guys.
I'm gonna go eat junk food. Bye.
Cool! Bye!
Bye, bye, bye.